Sorry. I'll try and behave.
Okay.
My hardest. Right, okay.
Hi guys, I'm Joe.
And I'm Ollie at Ojo's Pizza.
And today we're going to be sharing with you how we survived our first year in our pizza business here in the UK. So from first setting up to serving over 1,000 pizzas last year, we're going to be sharing our biggest highlights, our biggest challenges over the last year, and we're also going to be sharing some insider top tips for you to help you if you're just starting out or if you're thinking about going into a food business here in the UK, but that could be relevant anywhere really. So we're going to go over some of our biggest highlights from our last year. So for me, well, might be for both of us, but getting our food hygiene rating was, I think, our first big highlight.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We put so much effort into getting that, probably over and above what we needed to.
Yeah, everything was pretty clean.
It was spotless, and we covered absolutely everything, and we still do. But it was a massive learning curve for us because neither of us are from the food business.
No.
We're both in trades. So going into the food business and learning what what boxes we need to tick for the food hygiene rating to get us out and about is that was a massive learning curve. But we got there and we got our, is it a 5-star?
Yeah.
So that was a huge highlight for us, especially because we do it in a gazebo. So we have to take all of our equipment around with us.
Gazebo.
In this very gazebo. The second highlight for me was buying our first big mixer from Dorchester.
Yeah. From a pizzeria.
Yeah, it was. Do you know what? I did some research on that actually. I don't know how it came up, but Marco Pierre White's son owns that restaurant.
Well, you can tell his son outside that restaurant there's a nice big gouge out the floor where we had to drag it out because it was proper heavy.
It was, yeah. And then he had 3 wheels. None of them turned.
No, and they still don't.
But that mixer's got a story to it. It's been all over the place, over from Italy, and we had people coming.
And we met the people who bought the original mixer in a flat next door, and she used to make focaccias in Italy with it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah, and so that. But before that we were doing everything by hand. So we had a couple of fairly not big events, but
yeah. Imagine that now.
Yeah, crazy.
Mixing it all by hand.
No way.
I was sweating.
Yeah, it was hard. So that opened up so much for us. Obviously, we had to learn that we needed a breaker rod in there, which is that you've got the spiral and then you've got a rod in front of it, and we didn't have that for a while. We had to get that made.
Yeah, because they're quite expensive new.
But we got there in the end. So that mixer was a massive highlight. Can you think of any highlights for you?
Mine's probably doing the first festival.
Yeah.
On a really hot day with some good music and just good crowd of people, some people coming down to see us, and just feeling like you're fully into it. That was good.
That was a lot of work, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot of work, but good fun. But we got lucky with the weather.
Massively.
It was hot.
Yeah.
Also not so good for you next to the oven.
No. Yeah.
Because we've got a good video of you collapsed next to it at the end of the day.
Yeah, we've got one of you as well. I'll put that up as well. That festival, it wasn't a massive festival. It was a food festival, but for us, it was the biggest event we'd done. It was Saturday, Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we went down to set up Friday. But it was days of planning and work because we make everything fresh. We make all of our dough.
Keeping the dough in the right place at a festival for 2 days is hard as well.
Yeah, that was difficult.
Adjusting the temperature.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges, is especially if you do room temperature doughs, is working with the seasonings and the humidity and adjusting your recipes. But we'll have videos coming up about how to make our dough and how to manage room temperature dough, so subscribe if you want to see that.
Should we have a beer?
Should we have a beer?
Oh no, it's well early, isn't it?
12:30. I've just had to put a jacket on because it's freezing. We haven't lit the oven yet, but we're doing that in a minute. Right, biggest challenges over the last year. I think there's been more challenges than the highlights, really.
There's been a few biggest challenges.
It's not an easy thing to just throw yourself into. You've really got to plan ahead as much as you can, but things will crop up that you just won't even see coming. So I'll start us off. Dough management. So we make a Neapolitan style dough and we prove it at room temperature. And we started off in September, October time, and we had a couple of Christmas events, and our dough was really difficult. It wasn't stretching out.
It was flat and cold, not rising.
Yeah.
Really awkward to stretch out. Easy to stretch out at home, and when you get to the event and it's freezing cold, and you've got loads of people waiting, and you've got dough that you can't stretch and move, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And that's just keeping the dough warm and
Yeah.
keeping it somewhere.
And again, in a van, that's pretty easy because you've got the heat that stays in there and in the trailers, but in the gazebo, it's open. So we've only got the oven to keep us warm, really. So managing that dough, we then had to learn how to add more yeast, or we've played around with the hydration quite a lot.
Which changes due to weather
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah, like the festival, when we did the festival, our dough sort of exploded. And it was good dough, but it's really difficult to get out of the proving box.
Hard to work with, wasn't it?
Hard to work with. You want the dough in the tray to be sort of nice domes. We had massive squares, so it wasn't overproofed. It was just gone mad. So I think that's something that will never go away. You're always trying to keep up with your dough, and
You're always going to chase it, aren't you?
always chasing it, and trying to get the perfect dough. Every time though, I mean 9 times out of 10 we go, oh look at that. We look in the oven and the pizzas are good. Another challenge I think is venues. So it's not a real challenge, but I think planning ahead is key. So if you're going to a venue where you haven't been before, just make the visit. Go down there,
Check out where you're going to put the oven, where you're going to
Exactly.
put the trailer.
speak to the staff, build some rapport. Because if the customer knows you're doing that, again, it's another thing that they're impressed with. If you just turn up on the day and you go, oh, I can't fit, or you give them problems. If you go ahead of time and solve those problems, it's less stress for the customer. There's more chance of a massive sort of 5-star review.
Also, you can't rely on what they're saying on the day before where you can set up. So we've been to a wedding where they said, can you set up there? We've said, yeah, that's brilliant. Gone there the next day with all intentions of setting up, and they've said, oh, we've actually put our marquee here. There isn't room for you. You're going to have to find somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you've got to adjust really to wherever you can get into.
Yeah, and if you've already been to the venue and you've built a bit of rapport with the staff, they're more likely to help you out on the day.
Yeah.
So you can then turn around and say, oh, we're a bit stuck, can you help us out?
And electric.
Electric, yeah.
Make sure you can get to a socket, get in there, stuff like that.
Yeah, we haven't had anywhere where we haven't managed it, but again, doing that visit to the venue beforehand, you can see where the electric is and where you can set up. Sometimes the client will say, I want you there, but you've got to make that call sometimes.
And the weather.
Yeah.
The weather's a big issue.
Yeah.
So it can be really hot, which is all right, everything works well, but the wind is a nightmare in a gazebo.
Yeah, we have had a full-blown gazebo take off.
And wrapped around barbed wire.
That was what, month 2?
Yeah. That's
So-
when we just bought our first gazebo.
Yeah. We'd done the event. It was like a kids' party thing. And we served everyone. Everyone loved the pizzas. It started pouring down with rain. And then the wind hit us. And we were hanging on to the gazebo.
Yeah.
But it had a gust. And it just took off. And it didn't just take off. It went up into that telegraph pole with barbed wire wrapped around it. and we had to rip it back off, and it was pouring with rain. Another challenge this year has been pitch fees. So
really expensive.
let's just touch on pitch fees. So I think when we were starting out, the dream was to go and do festivals, and you think it's really cool to say, yeah, we've done a few festivals and stuff, but behind it all, we've figured out that if you've got high quality food like ours and you put so much into it, A, you've got all your ingredients costs and time that goes into it, but B, pitch fees can be thousands of pounds.
It's a killer, isn't it?
You put all of that time and money into it, so the stakes are quite high. And obviously in the UK, we can have rain at any time of the year. So when we did that big festival in Weymouth, it was a massive gamble, really. Luckily we were all right, but
If it's rubbish weather and no one turns up, you've lost your pitch fee,
Yep.
you've lost your ingredients, you lost your money and your time, and it's a big downer then, isn't it? On
Massive.
everything.
yeah.
So if you're doing a private party for 40, 50 people, it's quite fun.
Yeah, and you're not making a loss. If the worst case happens and you have to cancel, you haven't lost out really. And you've probably even got the deposit to cover your ingredients.
Yeah.
But with a festival, you're paying to be there. And if they cancel it as well.
You're chasing the money as well. You're
Yep.
chasing the money to get what you've got back before you've even earned anything.
Yeah,
So you can work for a day for nothing.
exactly, yeah. And that's what we did on that big festival. Our first day was trying to make our pitch fees back. And a lot of the other people there, you could see that they were making high profits. The markup was high and their ingredients costs were quite low. So although it was a food festival, a lot of the food there wasn't great because they're just there trying to make the money back. And that's when we realised that this is why prices are so expensive at food festivals and stuff, because the people are there trying to make their money back. But we didn't want to adjust our prices really, so
No.
we took the gamble and made it affordable.
It
And
still worked.
Luckily
We got
it
lucky.
worked. So yeah, watch out for those pitch fees. It is a gamble, and give it a go. It was a good experience. Again, it's a highlight for us, but at the same time, it was a challenge, and it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Could you think of any other challenges?
There's been a few. Yeah, like trailers breaking with the oven on it, axles snapping, moving ovens over to other trailers on events.
Yeah,
We lost the door off the oven.
yeah.
Driving home, we're still trying to find now. But yeah, a few bits and pieces like that. But they're things that you're going to expect to happen. Just got to get over them.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few little bits and pieces all the way, isn't there?
Yeah, and they always crop up. One thing, if you subscribe, we're going to be doing event logs and diaries about our events over the next year. So we'll be sort of documenting what happens at events. So you'll see those challenges and stuff throughout the year. So make sure to subscribe. So to close out the video, we're going to give you some insider top tips. This relates to us massively. So the first one is never compromise on your quality. If you're passionate about what you do and you start off with a product, don't compromise. It's easy to go into wholesalers and go, oh, that cheese is cheap, or that, oh look, they make the bases for you.
Yeah, that's the thing what we don't want to do.
Yeah, don't compromise. Keep that quality where if you would eat that pizza, if you go to other food vendors and say, oh, ours is better, then keep that up. Just keep up that quality. Don't compromise on it.
Also, people can ask you about the ingredients and about the dough and how it's made, and you know all the answers because you've done it all.
Exactly.
There's nothing there that we've bought.
Yeah, we don't hide anything. So,
We know what's in everything because we put it in there.
yep.
So it's
Exactly.
nice to be able to answer them questions.
Yeah, we make our sauce, we make our dough, we make as much as we can. We make
Visit the cheese companies that we're going to buy stuff off of, work out, a bit of research.
Yeah, we try and do local stuff. We've got ideas for the next year about even more stuff that we can source ourselves and just make the pizza as best as we can make it.
Even making our own cheese.
We are looking into doing that, yeah. A second top tip would be to manage your customer expectations. So make it absolutely clear on what you're doing. Have the communication, because if you turn up to an event and you're supposed to be catering for X amount of people and you've only got enough for half of that, or if you say you're going to do some gluten-free bases, make sure you do them. Have a clear pricing policy, have some T's and C's. I know it's boring, it's paperwork, but having a list of T's and C's, just detailing about if they cancel an event, then this is what happens. So if they pay the deposit and they cancel maybe 2 weeks before, they can still get the deposit back, but if it's within 2 weeks, they lose the deposit. All of that, get it all written down. It doesn't take much, but it's there. Be consistent on social media. I know not everyone likes social media, but you've got to do it now. If clients want to see a portfolio of your work, you can say, check us out on Instagram, or we're on Facebook, or have a look at our website. But I think Instagram is good for keeping a sort of a log of what you're doing and where you're going, and just stick with it. Doesn't matter how many followers you got, just post stuff on there, because then people can see that you know what you're making and what you're putting in behind the scenes as well, because not a lot of people know how much work goes
into it. You think you just turn up and serve pizzas?
Yeah, the work that's gone into that pizza in the days beforehand, it's good to share that with people. So yeah, be consistent on social media.
Well, just get everything prepared for the day before you leave to go and do whatever you do.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Prepare everything. Think
and then
ahead.
check it. So when you get there and you've got an ingredient missing, not always easy to get.
We've actually got a list of equipment, even down to turning peel, pizza peel. It's foolproof. We have forgotten stuff before.
It's not that foolproof. Yeah. Axe to chop the wood.
Yeah, wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a list, but prepare everything. What's the saying? Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So think ahead. Think, what if this happens? What if that happens? And just have some bits with you.
I've actually forgot the dough.
Yeah, we've forgotten the dough before. Yeah.
Go back and get. Not so easy when you're in the middle of nowhere. So.
No, courgettes. Do you remember was it courgettes?
Yeah.
It was a courgettes run in the middle of nowhere. We had to find courgettes.
Especially when it's on a special pizza and you don't have a courgette, then you have to find that courgette, no matter where it is. Yeah. So it's a quick drive around to find one.
So we're telling you to prepare.
But we don't. We try. You can do your best.
Yeah, just do your best. Have a debrief. So once you finish that event, sit down and think, did anyone give us any comments? And instead of taking it personally, think, well, were they right? Were they wrong? Can I look into it? How can I stop that happening again? Just be honest with yourself. And if someone says, oh, why don't you do this? Then don't go, oh no, you're wrong, we're doing it the right way. Some suggestions from your customers are actually good.
Yeah, take it and learn from it and see if it does work. They might not be right, they might be right.
Yeah. Pineapple. A lot of people want pineapple.
No, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, a lot of people. And chips.
You've been asked for chips a lot.
A lot? Do you do chips?
No. Not in the oven.
No. We have warmed chips up in there.
We have warmed the customers' chips up that they bought from somewhere else.
Yeah. He does buy pizzas quite a lot though, so
yeah.
Fair play.
Steve's here now, he want a pizza.
That's all of them, isn't it? Debrief. That's all of it. Can you think of any other tips?
Take water.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because not everybody offers you a drink.
Yeah.
And when it's hot and you're busy, you can't stop, you can't go anything. You can't go anywhere, you need a drink.
Yeah. It sounds so simple, but in the summer, working next to the oven and working all day, not everyone gets a drink. So take supplies for yourself.
And you can't drink beer all the time.
No.
Not when you're driving.
No, don't drink and drive. The last top tip, keep it simple. When you're first starting out, I mean, our menu has what, five pizzas on?
Yeah. That's quite a lot, I think.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really tricky because people ask for different bases and stuff. So keep your menu simple, and your process. Try and keep it simple, because any complications in that can cause a queue, missed orders, all sorts of trouble.
And keep the equipment simple.
Yeah.
Because you can have so much. We've taken so much stuff to an event that we don't need.
Yeah, especially with the buffets and stuff.
We can cut down on a lot of things
Yeah.
to make it easier set up, easier pack away. And we're pretty good at packing up now and setting up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Got a lot quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do a video on that. But yeah, keep it simple. So that's our video on our first year in business. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments, but we'd also like to hear if you started out and what challenges or highlights you've had. So leave them in the comments, and we can take a look at them. We're going to be doing loads of videos over the next year, so make sure to subscribe and like the videos that you see, and get in touch if you've got any questions. I think that's it.
That's it.